First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And this will be a brief lesson, but I wanted to say a few words on some information that I saw earlier today. Wasn't able to do a lesson on it. There wasn't really much in the article. It was more so of a headline, right? So there wasn't really too much in there, but I'm sure it's a developing story, or it might be. So maybe later there might be some more information, but it centered around Biden authorizing the use of a U.S. weapons in by Ukraine and Russia, or to attack Russia. Now, I believe this is something that Russia had already warned NATO about, that if they were to, when they first mentioned they would be supplying equipment to Ukraine or supporting them in any way, shape, or form, right? Russia had warned that if they did that and they ended up using NATO weapons in Russia, that could lead to World War III, all right, or maybe even warrant a more extreme response. So interestingly enough, what did they do? Right, and it's not by coincidence that originally this is something that the Biden administration shied away from, right? And even in some cases they were asked if they would, I believe it was if they would have U.S. troops fighting alongside Ukraine over there or whatnot. And I believe Biden's words were, "No, that's crazy. That would start World War III." So it's interesting that now, with a few months before leaving office, as at least it would appear, he goes ahead and authorizes this, which now leads to a greater provocation, because how surprising, right, that the second he authorized it, they wasted no time, they being Ukraine that is, wasted no time in utilizing the weapons. And in fact, I think it was either today, I think it might have been today, they already used U.S. weapons to attack Russia, right? And Russia, this is where this is the information that prompted this lesson, which was, I believe Russia mentioned that Ukraine must be ready now for a nuclear response. Okay, being that they've gone ahead and taken this escalation, then doing so means that they're obviously ready for a nuclear response. Now, is Russia actually gonna just, launch a nuclear attack on Ukraine? Who knows, right? Who knows? But just that alone should put it into your mind to understand that we're living in some very interesting prophetic times. But more so than ever, the Most High is the one whose hand is on the trigger, right? And he has many triggers, and he pulls whichever one he wants, whenever he wants. To the point where there's certain things that may seem one thing or one way one day, and then the next, it's a complete different scenario that you're dealing with, right? Because that's how the Most High works. Now, I started watching a little bit of it. I didn't get much into it, but because I didn't have time. But the elder apostle Ramla was doing a stream on I think the title was "A Lot Can Happen in a Day." And thinking about that with this, a lot can happen in a day, right? One day, the way you see the world looks one way, and literally it takes one event, one catastrophic event, and everything changes. Okay, and the scriptures tell us about the different times, right? The time of peace, the time of love, and then also the time of war, which we are in now. Okay, so we're in a time of war. Don't think that because war, it hasn't hit where you are, right, or your country isn't directly involved in a war, then that's the end of that, right? There's no such thing, no wars, no nothing going on. That's not the case, because Yahweh Shai prophesied that there will be wars and rumors of wars. But the end would not be yet, because there's still certain things that need to happen. Though, as you can see things happening on the front of Israel and Iran, you can also see things happening on the front of Russia and Ukraine. And now I think the UK also mentioned supplying weapons, because the US sort of set that precedent. They say, okay, you can go ahead and use US weapons to attack Russia. UK says, okay, yeah, you can also use some of our weapons to attack them too. But at the same time, it's not all the allies, right? All the countries that are currently allied with Babylon are not in agreement with that, right? Because some of them see it as an unnecessary provocation, because being that Ukraine is not necessarily in a direct alliance with you, right? Ukraine is not a part of NATO, but you go and stick your nose there and you go and intervene between them and Russia, then something bigger comes out of that. Then that triggers these other nations that are allied with you to have to get involved. And some of them might say, look, I would rather just let them do what let them handle that. I'm not trying to get involved in this, but by association, I'm going to be forced to get involved in this because you went and got involved in it. Now you done triggered all this right here. Okay. So some of these nations, they may not speak up yet, but some of them are feeling that as they've been feeling for a while, you know, that disdain. Okay. And soon it's gonna amplify more and more against Babylon because of that energy that they're coming with. So the ball is really in the court of the Most High. It's always been in the court of the Most High, right? But we got to see what the Lord's plans are, you know, because then there's a whole, I mean, things can take a very drastic turn, and things that you may expect to happen may not, right? Maybe they don't put Trump in there. Maybe something major, even worse happens. Or maybe he does come up in there, you know, as it you know, it appears to be, right? Everything goes and he comes in there. But maybe this guy Biden has set the scene to where now it's the expectation of peace that some of these other nations had, thinking Trump coming in office would be a more reasonable kind of deal, goes out the window because of the things that are happening now. All right, but remember, it's all in the hands of the Lord. As the scriptures say, the Lord declares the end from the beginning. So to us, it may seem certain things seem like, oh wow, that was a little curveball over there. But to the Lord, it's just like it was just a matter of time until setting to happen. Right? It was always on the records to happen, but it was just a matter of time before going ahead and implementing, you know, or you know, giving the go ahead to let it happen. You know, but all in all, we're definitely, without a doubt, living in unprecedented times. Okay, and the fact is, the world is not on enough edge. And when I say the world, really I'm referring to the world of Babylon, of America. Other countries are warning and preparing their citizens for war, but specifically for nuclear war as well. It's the spirit, the license plate on the car. I don't know if you can see it over there. Yeah, that car right there, it says Khan. Yeah, so that's interesting, right? Just saw that right now. But anyway, yeah, they're preparing their civilians for this actual very real possibility of war. And it's a recurring thing that you hear, and it's not just physical war, as in, you know, like nuclear war, conventional war. They're mentioning blackouts, cyber attacks. They're mentioning all of these things, and they're telling people, hey, do this, do that. So it's getting into their minds. Over here, they're people are out here worried about, I don't know, you got women shaving their heads talking about, you know, they're gonna be, I don't even know what it is they want to be now. You know, I saw a post that said they started off with they want to be equal to a man. Then it came to what was it? They don't need men. And then they became men, and now they want to go back to being women. And I saw a post, it was like in that order, right? And that just goes to show you, man, there's a level of confusion that is being nurtured and promoted here in America with the unnecessary liberty, right? But it's really liberty coercing people to have liberty and wickedness. Okay, not liberty to do what's right, or freedom to do what's right. Anyway, that's besides the point. When you go to the book of 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, as it tells us in the 3rd verse, that when safety, then sudden destruction means that sudden destruction, like actual destruction, you know, danger, right? Something that they can't escape, something that they're not expecting, you know, and most of these people are not expecting that. Why? Because if either A, it's not on the mainstream media, or B, it is on the mainstream media, but it's not pushed as a point of concern, then people are just, they're just like, whatever. It's just conspiracy theory stuff once again. And here it is, all the conspiracy theories, all these so-called conspiracy theories have now come out, and you're seeing it before your eyes, but people's minds are so gone, so far gone, so desensitized, so out of touch with reality that they don't even notice that they're literally like that boiling frog in the pot getting cooked right now. Like we're at the point where the frog is actually boiling to death right now, but it's not trying to hop out the pot. And in fact, it's not even freaking out because it's just been so accustomed, so primed to it that it doesn't see anything wrong with the fact that it's actually boiling to death at this point. So whether you want to call it a breaking point or whatever you want to call it, we're at the point where the time the scriptures speak about of Jacob's trouble, the time the scriptures speak about of war, the things that are written in this book, they're all getting ready to be fulfilled. It's all just a matter of time before the little things are happening and they're escalating, but it's all just a matter of time before, going back to the phrase, right, a lot can happen in a day. It's all just a matter of time before something happens one of these days and it changes everything. All of a sudden, this day is like a completely different world versus what it was. And people will sit back and say, yo, just last week, how the hell is this possible? Just last week, I was going here, or I was doing what I usually do, I was on my way here, I was talking to such and such, and now, like, what the hell just happened here? And people are going to bug out, all right? They're going to bug out because what the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, is planning to do to this place, even the Lord himself says it's going to be a great day. And if the Lord himself says it's going to be a great day, then that, I don't even know, how that even translates to us and how we perceive it. Okay, but all in all, the main point I wanted to highlight was Russia's readiness and willingness to escalate to the use of nuclear weapons in this war with Ukraine, and even in a greater war with NATO, as they've already warned very sternly NATO. Okay, and we know that at the end of the day, the Proverbs 21:1 tells us that the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, right? So the Most High is the one who's controlling when and what they think and how they act upon it. So we're gonna see. Definitely stay alert, stay on your watch, and don't get too complacent in your expectations for how things should go, because the Lord can literally just flip the script. He can literally do a 180 at any point in time, and just turn everything around, and you're like, oh shit. So really, just be ready for the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. Of course, we know what prophecy has in line, but the little details of how we get from point A to point B, the Lord can have that happen anyhow He wants. All right. So anyway, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hasham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hasham, Rechah Kodesh. Until next time, Shalom.